All right. Hello, everyone. This is Josh for Ginger Flix, and I'm here with
Joey.
And we're your hosts for today's episode. This is episode 3, and we're going to be talking about Bad Boys for Life.
In continuation of our last episode where we did the first 2 Bad Boys movies, we went out and saw the newest installment of, I guess, what's now a trilogy.
What's now a trilogy. And who knows where it'll go from there. We'll see.
Oh my, yes.
Before we delve into the episode. Before we delve into the episode,
we're climbing mountains.
That's how we do it with Ginger Flix. You know it. Please,
climbing the Alps of movies.
The Alps. I don't even know.
The Elven Alps.
Oh, that's a place.
That is a place in my dreams. Continue.
Oh gosh.
Where can you find us, Josh?
Yeah, before you look us, before we continue with the episode, be sure to look us up on Instagram
at least follow us on Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram. We post a little bit of media there and give you a little clue as to each episode. And we're at Ginger Flix Pod. And that's Flix with an X, because that's how we do.
Yes.
And you can also find us. We have a YouTube channel where we've uploaded a few episodes, including even a little more media, quick reviews of our movies and things like that. And you can also find us at Ginger Flix. That's 2 words, and Flix with an X. And anyway, that being said, let's get into this episode. So starting off with Bad Boys for Life.
Okay.
What are some things we liked about it? What are our overall thoughts of the movie first? Overall impressions.
I'm going out on a limb here, and I'd argue it was the best of the 3.
I wouldn't argue that. So
you're in full agreement.
I'm in full agreement.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I thought I really felt like they took time to actually develop the characters a lot more in this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think
not that they weren't already established. We know who these guys are.
Well, I was thinking about this last night after seeing the movie. It's like this was almost the opposite of the original X-Men franchise, right? The X1 and 2 were excellent. And then X3, The Last Stand, was a complete dumpster fire, right? And But it's true. But
I can't wait till we do that. That
yeah,
trilogy.
You know what? We should.
We're going on trilogy. 2 trilogies in a row. Let's not forget this.
That's it. But I remember hearing something like Brett Ratner had said with that one, because he was a different director for the 3rd movie, whereas there's a different director for this 3rd movie. But back then in 2006, he had said that all the characters, all the motivation was set up in the first 2 movies, so he didn't have to worry about that.
Oh my God.
And the thing is, all the characters went to the garbage, like to trash.
They were thrown to the wayside.
They acted differently.
I will say this is Bad Boys for Life actually had 2 directors on it.
Okay.
So, and I don't know much about these guys. I'd argue they're relatively new.
Who are they? Let's hear those names.
Adil El Arbi?
No clue.
Yeah. He's probably a fairly new director. He's got 10 credits that are of note, and a lot of them are just basically he's early in his career, right?
Okay.
So he's got a few.
So
I would argue that
AD,
this is
cinematography, a little bit of that stuff.
I'd argue Bad Boys for Life is his first
big thing
feature.
Okay. Who's the other one?
And I'm apologizing in advance as I completely butcher these 2 men, their names. Bilal Falah.
Okay.
And again, I think he's another sort of. Yeah, so him and the other director are a team, and they've basically worked on smaller shorts and all that stuff. So this is really their chance to sink their teeth into a major motion picture. And personally, I think they did an amazing job. The story is
this is their first big thing. Yeah, I think it was a pretty good hit. So my main thing, not my main thing, but in comparison with that X-Men trilogy, for example, third movie, they let the character arcs kind of die and fizzle. Where this one, I actually felt like they were more fleshed out, actually. And
a
little more
lot
humanized.
more. Like they showed like Will Smith's character actually showed vulnerability this time around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like things we said last night, they were humanized.
Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
I mean,
there was still over the top, character moments or stuff which we'll delve into the episode. But yeah, there was more humanity. There was more
Right.
with this kind of bombastic, over the top action kind of movie. These characters seemed almost real people, which is a little hard to say in consideration with the first two movies.
it's very true. I mean, I was actually pleasantly surprised to see how much more fleshed out both the guys were in this one.
So all of this being said, let's talk about some of the things that we really liked. For example, like some of the action sequences.
Oh, dude.
Well, the first two movies are directed by Michael Bay.
Which is...
And if you've seen the Transformers franchise...
Or any Michael Bay movie.
I would argue not any, but yeah.
Name one that wasn't as explodey.
No, I don't mean it as explode. I wasn't going to go there. I was going to go in the way you follow it. Like... all the Transformers movies that he directed, I never knew what was going on.
Like in an action
any
sequence?
of the fights at all. Like, because all the robots would look the same. The cuts were so fast.
He likes to cut, like his action sequences are cut really quickly.
Because he wants you to feel that kind of adrenaline or
I
whatever.
think, yeah, that could be it. Like, I wish I could pick his brain in that regard, right? But I've always noticed that with a Michael Bay film, in terms of like the action sequences, he almost wants the audience to feel that anxiety of being in that fight.
Yeah.
And God, do I ever.
And you feel it, but you can't follow it though.
It's hard to follow.
Like,
It's frustrating.
Unless it's panning around a room 50 times.
No, that's just nauseating.
Right?
That was upsetting.
So with this one, with a lot of the action, it was fairly straightforward.
Right.
You could the takes were a little bit longer. You could clearly see a beginning and a middle and an end of a sequence of choreography.
There was a literal linear timeline in regards to the way the sequence or the action sequence progressed.
Yeah.
Progressed.
Okay,
Progressed.
Elmo Fudd.
We're hunting wabbits.
We're hunting bad boys.
I was saying this to you earlier. I can't remember if it was tonight or last night, but hearing Will Smith cuss is off-putting to me.
Yeah,
It feels dirty.
I was thinking that too, but again, I don't know. There was something different in this movie with him dropping F-bombs and regular cussing to when he dropped the N-bomb. When he dropped the N-word.
Oh, that felt the worst.
That was so odd because I'm trying to think, like, did he ever actually say it in something else? He probably did, and I can't even think of it.
I feel bad saying this, but like, you almost not bat an eye to it when a comedian like Dave Chappelle drops it. But then when a performer like Will Smith drops it, it feels dirty and wrong and like it should never exist in this world, and now it does.
Yeah.
It's an abomination.
Well, I don't want to say it feels wrong. But it caught me off guard because I can't think of him actually saying it.
In terms of the character of Mike Lowry, I could see Mike Lowry saying
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about the character.
But I mean, just hearing the
Will Smith.
words come out of Will Smith, the actor's mouth.
Yeah.
Now both you and I, what the heck was that? Anyways, both you and I grew up pretty much, watching Will Smith's career in a sense, and he was a huge influence on us in some way or another, from Fresh Prince to his movies to even his albums, because you and I listened to some of his rap music too, and it's just because you don't hear it often, it actually hits a lot harder. just anytime he cusses, and it's like.
Well, he went through that phase. Was it with the Millennium album, maybe? When he kind of had a small beef with Eminem.
No,
right?
that wasn't Millennium. That was
I'm pretty sure it was.
It was Switch, or there was the album after it. It was the album after Millennium, because I have the Millennium album, funny enough, and there's no mention of Eminem in it at all.
I had that album too.
Yeah.
So it was somewhere around there. Like
it was the next album after.
Yeah, possibly that. No, because the next album after that, well, who knows at this point. But the thing is, he had said, I don't swear, I don't cuss, don't need to do that, whatever. And then Eminem shot back hard because it's Eminem. And there was a little beef, but that was the whole thing. In the song Miami, he talked about cigars, and he's like, I don't light it, it's for the look. I just bite it, it's for the look. I don't light it, or whatever it was, right? That's the kind of guy, that his persona, like that's what he was. That's how he, came across, and that's what he tried to promote to his fan base when he was becoming a really big family man and stuff like that. Anyway, getting back to the movie,
I do remember a mutual friend of ours, someone we both know anyways, had me listen to it because he had a copy of the album, and I remember saying to him, well, Will sounds angry on this. Like something was up. And he's like, yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another story for another time.
So we talked about the action being easy to follow. It was what's the word? It was pleasing in that way, because
it wasn't,
you're not shocked in a bad way.
It's not even it's not jarring.
Exactly.
The action sequences aren't jarring, and you don't feel nauseous halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Not like Bad Boys 2, where they're circling that room.
Well, there was that
for like an hour and a half.
This time they did two pans.
The whole movie.
They did two pans. One was the classic, it's the two of them, and they go.
That one's for dramatic effect, and then there's one that I noticed, and you didn't even notice it.
It
was a weird camera move, in my opinion, and I was like, okay, so it's in the final action sequence, and they do a weird pan as the two main villains are about to get out and escape or whatever. They do a main pan to the doorway, then they go pan up to the top of the door, like tilt up to the top of the doorway. You get a view of whatever the stained glass is of the doorway, which is really just a circle. Mm-hmm. And then it tilts back down to the doorway, and I'm like, what? Why?
I don't even know why I didn't catch that. Sometimes that'll be something I didn't see, or I would see, whatever. But
again, it was like it was mid action sequence, and
so it kind of stopped the pace a little bit.
For me, it did.
Yeah, okay,
like it's something fair. I noticed, and it's just, I guess it's from like the little bit of like film school I did take.
So from here, we should also say there will be spoilers. We will be
yes, there are spoilers, and
talking about certain things that happen in the movie. So if you are listening to this or watching the video with clips on YouTube, I would say stop it now, watch the movie, and then come back.
All right, we'll wait. Stop it. We'll wait. Okay.
Watch it. Good.
Awesome.
All right, you're back.
Great.
So one thing we also liked and we really appreciated were the callbacks, specifically Reggie. They brought Reggie back.
The same guy.
The same kid
guy. It was
that
great.
They tormented in the best father-son, or the father to the date scene in Bad Boys 2.
Oh my God.
They brought this kid back.
And they mention it. They also
even mention that scene from Bad Boys 2 in the movie. And you know what? Again,
boy, you must be at least 30.
But
now he's finally 30.
Now he's like 30 or 35 or whatever.
Poor Reggie, man.
But it's funny because you watch it now, though, and again, we were talking about how they're humanizing the characters, or at least fleshing them out. When they talk about it in the movie, it's Mike, and he's giving this speech at Reggie and their daughter's and Mark's daughter, their wedding. And the way he talks about it like an uncle or something like that. He says, like, we did this to you, you stuck it out, and he says, this is something Marcus and I say together.
Marcus's daughter, I think her name was Megan.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm literally looking.
She was in the movie for a good 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But he says, and he's like brings him to the family. He says, we ride together, we die together, bad boys for life. And I was like, you know what? That's a great moment, and it's very in tune with that character. And it was, I actually really appreciated that callback. There was a few callbacks that I think there was others. Of course they brought back the captain and stuff like that, who actually was a really integral part of this movie. There were. I'm trying to think of other callbacks though. There was almost like homages to the other movies, like that opening chase scene, but instead of it being this hot, like it is a high octane,
it's a very octane, like
right, like car chase, but then all of a sudden it's
like, wait, they're not chasing a car.
No, you don't even realize it though until
they pull up.
They pull up, and you're like, oh, and it turns out it's the birth of Marcus's granddaughter, and you're like, oh, that's
grandson.
kind of grandson. Excuse me, yeah. It's kind of a nice. Again, it was like a play on the movie, and I actually didn't mind that.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool. I like that. The other thing too was with the callbacks. There's ones that they didn't do. Right? They didn't say USA at all. There was a whole bit in like where they're in the captain's
he loses
they're in the captain's office.
He loses it.
He goes off, and you expect him to drop it once. He turns around, grabs a bottle of Pepto, takes a sip, and doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
But everybody in the friggin' theater,
everyone in the
like,
audience, "Woosa!" Like everyone thought they were gonna say it,
and they were all wanted it. The whole audience wanted it, and they didn't get it.
And I wonder if they knew that. Like, I wonder if the directors
felt like they did
or something knew that, and that was that was really funny. I remember because people said it. I said it.
I know you did.
You were. I know, like I know you were thinking it, and I was like, "USA!" and then nothing, and then everybody just laughed, and I was like, "That was kind of funny."
No, but like, you weren't the only one. Like,
no, I know.
Everybody did it.
Yeah,
like,
it was like "USA, USA."
It just got louder. It's like this is literally 30 seconds of life. But yes,
it was like a wave of "USA."
USA. I feel like everybody was really stressed at that point.
That was surprising. Getting to the movie as well, the main thing I think that people were worried about is how would Marcus and Mike, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, translate on screen 17 years later. And like we said in our quick review, they were awesome. This was the top of their game, to be honest.
You know what? It just shows that there is a true friendship between them.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is just basically because of our relationship, funny enough. Is that you and I could go months at a time, even years, not say a word to each other, but literally the second we get back together,
what?
It's happened. Don't joke.
Years.
There's at least 2 years in there where we didn't, really spend time together. But my point is you can go that long distance.
You're in my heart, bro.
But that's what I'm trying to say. You go through that long distance, and the second you're together, it's just snap, and it's just like no time has passed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you saw that on screen. It was easily translatable, and it worked. I mean, there's such palpable chemistry between the two of them that it's like it makes the movie so much more enjoyable. Just like with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Such great chemistry there. And there's so many other like 1-2 teams that do that, and you see it. Mm-hmm. But not quite like those two pairs that I just mentioned.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's almost like they push each other in the scenes.
I mean,
to give the best scene possible, and especially within a movie like this, it's like this isn't going to be nominated. This is just an action movie.
Right.
It's an action, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of thriller, but these two make it. It's revolved around the two of them. That's it. And I think between their chemistry, the way they motivate each other, etc., it really worked. And with that, there were so many laugh out loud moments, and like our audience, when we saw it, everyone was laughing.
Like the crowd.
It wasn't just like a little chuckle or like, I've watched movies where it's funny, but it's more like grin. Like it just makes you feel good. People were dying laughing. And
I will say, like, two of the funniest things was Reggie's return.
Oh yeah.
And then
because the way they revealed him was almost the exact shot of when he shows up at the door.
Yeah,
And he's in the baby's room, and oh my gosh,
yeah, they're in the hospital room, and there's Marcus's daughter and wife holding the baby or whatever.
Yeah,
and then Marcus like literally almost like he looks at the camera, goes, "You better make my baby an honest woman,"
yeah.
And then it's that same shot.
Yeah.
From there,
and it's the two of them too.
It's like Will Smith, man. Martin Lawrence, both standing, and there's poor Reggie in the doorway. Type of thing.
But it's funny though because he's in like military garb though.
He's like
still
he's
still
in, like,
scared.
He's in full like camouflage like army fatigues, Yeah. I think his name tag doesn't say his last name; it still says Reggie
or something like that. Yeah. And
I could probably be 100% wrong, but I picture it like, oh my god, it says Reggie.
I wouldn't be surprised though, because like that's something that'd just be funny. And then, but what's good about that though, or that scene, is that it reverses, because you go from, in the last movie, Marcus and Mike are like getting in his face. This time, Marcus bursts into tears.
Yeah,
and it's like of joy
or whatever.
But it's so good.
You ever been with a man before?
You want to? Let's see. Other laugh out loud moments. There was a good. There was this plane scene where again it was almost,
goodness.
But it was almost a stereotypical plane scene of back in like 2001, 2, 3.
Like how do you mean?
Well, you remember like Meet the Fockers or Meet the Parents?
Where it was like a sort of an
when
awkward...
but Ben Stiller being like, why can't I say bomb on a plane? Bomb, 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 bomb. And then he gets like taken into...
Oh, they do the one bit like that.
It's similar like that.
We all gonna... We ride together. We fly together. We die together.
And everyone's looking at him and it's like...
No, this is a different thing.
Yeah, sorry. Poor choice of words. Like, it didn't have that same ending, but it's...
We're cops. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then he says like, you can't kill your son. And it's like... spoiler alert. Sorry, I said that was happening.
So...
But it gets... Yeah.
As we continue, let's just give them the reveal and what our thoughts were on it.
Yeah. Okay, so before that, this...
Because the whole plane scene is predicated on this whole, like, huge reveal that the main villain, she is Mike's, former lover.
Yeah.
And the guy that's trying to kill Mike is his son.
Yeah. And he's Mexican. I guess she's Mexican.
Yeah, they're Mexican.
They're Mexican, right? And but so before we dive into that, let's say, because the one thing that was, I think this was by far the best villain, because
she was.
I mean, I felt it weird.
She was
this
scared.
witch, and I was like, there was one point where Marcus was praying to God, and she was just, we didn't realize, but she was praying to somebody, and I kept thinking, okay, whose prayer is gonna win here? Because
but they were praying for the same thing. She was just praying to Mexican God.
Exactly. But the thing is, so the villain with this one, the villain was scary. And we felt this right away because, within the opening act of the movie, Mike gets shot. He gets like 3 bullets in him, and it's
like literally the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, he gets shot. That's a big part of the movie. And, you don't know if he's going to live. And obviously he's going to live. Because,
like a massive time jump, too.
Yeah, it was like 6 months later, and then all of a sudden that's when he can walk and all that stuff.
Yeah, so.
But that was a big thing. Like, nobody expected that. Because it came, again, what was good about this is there were moments that were full of like contentment, and it was like joy, and then all of a sudden, boom, they kicked into heavy, almost drama. And it's, Marcus and Mike racing.
The one weird thing, and kind of like, I guess... what made it like the old movies was when Mike decides to go investigate who's killing him or who tried to kill him or whatever. All he does to find out who, sold his killer the bullets, because that was the only evidence they had.
Yeah.
He just goes into a friggin' butcher shop.
And it's DJ Khaled.
Beats the shit out of DJ Khaled and gets the answer.
Yeah. It
was super easy and barely an inconvenience just to steal from,
Screen Rant.
Screen Rant.
Pitch meetings.
Pitch meetings.
Those are great.
Super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And
You know what? They'll probably have an episode already up of their pitch meeting of this before this drops.
and knowing
So-
them, yes.
So free advertising for Screen Rant. Go watch that because it's probably going to be hilarious.
After you
The guy's name is Ryan George. He's fantastic.
After you listen to our show, obviously.
Obviously, well, you are listening to
Well,
it now.
there you go. So you've already done step one.
But yeah, so I thought that the villain was great. The stakes being, Mike being shot.
Yeah.
And then the other one is here's another spoiler: is the captain gets killed.
Yeah,
That was another one. I thought when he died, because again, it was more like he got shot. You just see him go down. You're like, is it going to be like another Mike? He's going to recover. He's going to be in like a coma for the rest of it. Who knows?
But no.
But nope, he's dead. And then again, part of me thought, is he going to show up at the end? No, he's dead. I mean, who knows? Maybe in part 4 he might come back. But as of right now, he's dead. They had the funeral. He massively bled. It was crazy.
The saddest thing was he was like at his granddaughter's basketball game.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. We were talking about the stakes. So the stakes were really high in this one. You actually felt like these guys could be hurt.
You know what the plot of this kind of reminded me of? It was very reminiscent of Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where there's a cop killer out there.
Yeah.
Right? I just
and
kind
Riggs's girl gets killed.
Yeah.
You know? And no, cop killer was the third one.
No. In 2 as well. For sure in 2.
No,
because 2 had the scene. No, 2 had the scene when they were on.
It's just been revoked. That's on.
Yeah, but 2 had the scene
diplomatic immunity
where Danny Glover was sitting on the toilet and he couldn't get up because there was a bomb.
Right, all the other guys had been bombed. Right.
Yeah, they were being bombed.
Yeah,
bomb. Can't say bomb on a plane.
We do have other stuff, but
okay, let's do it real quick.
But what was I gonna say? I wanted to ask you this because I want to save it for the podcast. But
ask me away.
When they revealed that it was his kid,
yeah,
what did you think of that?
I didn't know what to think. I was like, okay. I mean, I get it. Mike Lowry got around, but I mean, it would have made more sense. I feel like it would have been better if they gave us some sort of connection even to the first one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's usually what they do with trilogies, right? The third movie calls back to the first one.
I mean,
in some way.
Die Hard does it.
Die Hard does it. Dark Knight trilogy did it.
Exactly. Like, but this one had it didn't have that, which I arguably this one this callback predates.
Yeah.
It, but
there were
the timeline just doesn't make sense.
Well, because there were 2 times they mentioned. Okay, so hold on. My thoughts on the reveal. I thought it was weird. I thought it was kind of cheesy. I was like, this is kind of a reveal for like an older movie, where it's like, oh, the killer's your son or your father or or something like.
But I think it would have had a lot more like gravitas had it been like
established in another movie.
Like, for example, if the villain was Téa Leoni.
Yeah, like if
it would have worked so much better.
Something like that, yeah. Or even Gabrielle Union. Like, you don't know what she wasn't even in the movie. Like, if there was,
I know.
There was callbacks, but like, the only callback was I broke up with her. And like, you were at a 10 in terms of anger.
It's like, yeah, don't talk about my sister. And then that was it. That was all you got. But I mean, like, they could have done so much more and given it so much more gravitas, so to speak. I can't think of another word.
So much more like weight to it.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, I thought it was sold well because of Will Smith's reaction to it. When he is like losing it, like he walks out of the room, he figures out it's his kid, and he is like in tears, and you're like, what? Like, I thought, okay, you know what? He's selling this, so I buy it. And at that point, I didn't want them to, because Marcus is saying, well, you don't know. It could be, whatever. He's trying to comfort him
Because Will sold it so well, you didn't want it to be a bait and switch. Is what you're saying.
Exactly. I didn't want to be like, oh, surprise. It's actually not. It's just
It's just a
dude.
Mexican guy.
It's just she was just using him to get revenge on him anyway.
But no, I mean,
so that was the thing. I thought that the reveal was kind of cheesy, but the fact that Will kind of sold it, and then they actually built on it because. He was the best villain. He was a serious villain. Killed a bunch of people, including the captain. Almost killed Mike. I was like, oh man, this is good. But then again, the ending,
like the plot wasn't like a convoluted heist plot to protect millions of dollars or like a mountain of cocaine or whatever. It was simply a revenge plot. Like, I'm going to kill these people. So these people are dying.
Yeah.
And Mike has to stay alive.
So, going off of that now, spoilers, the villain doesn't die. Well, she dies, so the mother dies, but the kid doesn't die. And then, very out of left field for a Bad Boys movie, but because it's popular now to do, there's a post-credits scene. And the kid is like, I just want to do my time. And then Mike says, well, what if we could shave some time off that sentence? Yeah. What did you think of that post-credits scene?
I was like, that's very presumptuous of them to think we'd want a fourth installment. I'm joking. I thought it was cool.
Well, but it's true, though, because no one really... Will Smith himself had said that everyone comes up to him on the street and says, yo, when are we getting another Bad Boys? And he didn't know when to do it because there wasn't a good script, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But it's 17 years later from the second one, 25 years from the first one, and this is probably the best one. So it's like...
Oh, no, this was definitely the best script. Nothing against Michael Bay, but I think the guys who directed this one did a great job.
Yeah.
And the guys who wrote this one did just as good of a job. I mean, what they wrote and what the two directors translated, it works so well. Aside from, Will Smith, pretty much solving things in like a matter of minutes. Because it's super easy.
Barely an inconvenience. So... Final thoughts. We didn't get to talk. Oh,
quick thing about the team.
Yeah,
let's get into that. Let's do that, and then we'll call it a show.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go.
Yeah.
Ammo was the name of the team, and what did we think about it? What do we think?
Dude, they were pretty wicked. I mean, it had High School Musical star Vanessa Hudgens.
Vanessa Hudgens is in it.
It's like, what?
And it's funny because that's in our notes. Is that they, Will Smith himself says, what Ammo is just a High School Musical band or whatever.
Yeah.
And then sure enough,
there's Vanessa Hudgens.
You see her name in the credits, but then she's like right there and you're like, okay, that's funny.
I get it. I get it. It's cool.
We had the leader was Latina Trinity.
Oh my God.
She looked like Carrie Ann Moss. Just
Paola Nunez is her actual name.
Yeah, and she was
See,
and I thought it was going to be a twist that she was going to be part of the villains.
I remember you saying that to me right off the bat.
Because there was such an odd communication with them at first. And even if it turns out that they had dated, but it was just very odd the way she was delivering some of her dialogue. But no, she's not. And then she ends up being the new captain.
Yeah, she takes over for the captain.
And who else did we have on the team?
The big tech white guy, like
this dude was a beast.
He was a monster of a man. He was a mountain of a man.
He literally took out cement pillars like by tackling them.
He like ran through a cement pillar.
Yeah,
he was a monster.
And then we had Vanessa Hudgens, who actually had a pretty cool action scene. It was just her and Will Smith with some drug dealers. And I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool. Like, she held her own. She was. I thought she was a great fit in the movie. Actually,
she worked with the way they introduced her and the rest of the group. Like, she fit in well. She didn't have too much to do in per se, but she did a good job of what she was given.
Yeah.
Right, and I thought her performance was good for the few scenes she got.
And then you had this hothead dude.
Oh yeah, the hothead guy, which was pretty much like, I mean, hell, if they revealed that he was Mike's son, it would have worked because they're virtually the same character in so many respects.
They even
right?
had that interaction where they're like, Mike's like, I slept with your mother or whatever, and it's like, that could have been it. But he was one
probably
of those,
did.
But again, in like the 80s or 90s, that character would have died.
Oh, straight up.
Like 100%, because he's that like jerk character that in like the horror movies, like the big jock,
or even
dies.
like any sort of team up action movie.
Yeah.
Right? He dies.
Because he'll be that one that rushes into the field and explodes. Right?
Steps on the landmine.
That's it.
But yeah, I mean.
But then, again, same thing with him. Him and Mike's relationship by the end of it ended up being pretty good.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, I want this kid to die. Like,
it was frustrating.
I hated like his character at first, and then okay, comes around.
It was just frustrating to get through. But other than that, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie with just the team. I would be happy if the next movie was sort of Marcus and Mike taking a bit more of a backseat, so to speak, and sort of leading this team through into like an investigation of some sort. Because these characters were cool. I want to see more of them. I liked what I saw, what little I got to see of them.
We talked about that last night. I think the problem is it's one of those, they are great so far as a backup. I'm like, what? I don't know.
You don't think they could lead their own?
It would be a gamble if we had them the whole time and made them more of a center focus. That's the thing. Not saying it would be a bad thing or a good thing. It would be a gamble. It would have to be written well enough, especially considering it is, if they did it in the vein of like if it was Bad Boys 4, ammo, whatever.
I mean, for all we know, Bad Boys 4 could come in another 17 years and it'll be, Will and Martin Lawrence
in wheelchairs
with walkers and canes. Okay. You never know. Well, okay, so let's move on to like final thought of it. What did you think?
Final thought, I think just with that reveal at the end, I thought it slowed the movie down a little bit for me. But besides that, I really enjoyed it. I'd give it 4 out of 5 stars kind of thing or something like that. I think it's a rewatchable movie. It's got a lot of good things about it. Leads are good.
Yeah.
I think it's entertaining in that it's a summer blockbuster that was released in January.
Fair enough. I mean, all it needed was Jingle Bells in it, and then it would have been a Christmas movie. But I mean, I agree with you. I'm gonna give it about a 4 out of 5 as well. And I liked a lot of the elements in it, and I found, that the cinematography wasn't as nauseating as the last one.
Absolutely not.
Anyways, this has been Ginger Flix.
Episode 3.
If you do want to listen to us on any platform, which I'm sure you already obviously are, but we are on quite a few, to be honest. We are on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Google Podcast, Pocket Casts, and Radio Public. So check out any of those and just search Ginger Flix, and you will get us on any one of those platforms. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.